Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I'm so glad to have Julie join me. I'll tell you something really interesting. I got to know Julie through our CEO, Iffy, and Julie and Iffy used to work together for many years. And she will tell us more about her story. Right now, Julie runs at the booming firm of Acrisure. And I'll defer to Julie to give a brief introduction, but there's something very cool about Julie. I'll keep it as a secret related to today's topic. We'll hear more in a sec. Julie, would you mind giving us a bit more explanation of your company, where you are, where you have been?
Sure. Hi, Julie Baker here, and I am currently with Acrisure. It is a large international fintech company. My industry experience is in insurance, so I'm on the insurance side. I am leading a team in the small to medium-sized core business department. I lead a team of service managers, account managers, and their associate account managers as well. They have team leads, then we have teams under them. And right now we are in the process of expanding, which is quite challenging, just navigating the whole landscape of the account management between the operations, which is where the account managers sit, and growth or sales, which is where the producers or client advisors sit. And I lead a team within that. And we took our small, what was a Legacy West is what I'm calling it, which consisted of Northern Nevada, Northern California, and Hawaii. And we are now expanding into Colorado West is going to be all of West. So going through a lot of changes right now. I have grown up through changes, changes opportunity the way I see it. And it's definitely led me outside my comfort zone most days, but I really enjoy it.
Wow, amazing. This is the true westward expansion. You are
Mhm.
making history right now, Julie.
Yes, 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 I am.
I earlier mentioned there's something very interesting about you. As we were preparing for today's webinar, I remember we checked with you on your stress barometer, and I would say drum roll. Everybody should get ready, Julie. On a scale from 0 to 10, where's your stress level today?
Today, right this minute, after just trying to navigate Zoom with it, we have Zoom, you have Teams, you have Google Meets, you have all the different platforms to meet on right now. My stress level is pretty high. But I'm good. Stress level is really relative to what's going on in the moment. And if I were to come off of just the Zoom versus what I'm used to, which is actually Teams meetings, I'm good. I'm sitting at probably around a 3 or 4, which for
Right.
me, I think that's great.
Yeah, I was really surprised because as the data that I have seen suggest, insurance industries experience even more or higher level of mental stress because the fact that in the insurance business, as much as the producers, you all are helping your clients to provide their financial safety net. At least 51% of the independent insurance agency employees report feeling burnout, and 65% of the frontline staff often feel stressed at work. And so, Julie, when I heard for you, it's usually a 3. That was quite an amazing number to hear.
It is because my goal every day is to live intentionally. I can set my expectations. I can set, well, not my expectations. I can help set other people's expectations. I can set boundaries and I can try to adhere to that. And what I found is if I can do that and live my day intentionally, I know my tasks, I'm organized, then usually I can help keep that stress level down.
Yeah, that's amazing. I wonder, I would love to probably just work with you and hear more from your perspective, how you came to this mental state of contentness, the stillness that you have while knowing rest of the industry, half of the industry is feeling pretty burnout. I'm curious for you, if you were to reflect, you've grown in the industry for probably a very long time. Several,
Almost 30 years.
oh wow. I mean, I could not have imagined you started at 10, probably.
No, thank you.
But when you reflect, when did you realize that leadership in insurance wasn't just about numbers, but it's about the emotional resilience, the adaptability?
Yeah, I never looked at leadership or the industry or anything that I've ever done about it. I've never looked at it as numbers, a set of numbers. I look at the people that I work with, I look at the people I work around, and I really look at it as a people, people drive the progress. And if you're healthy, if you have healthy people, your people know how to maintain balance, which a lot of times, if you have the proper leadership in place, you can help guide. So I've many times one-on-one phone calls with people or just meetings with people, just listening, just helping them, most of it really, as long as we're organized with what we do, it's a lot of times personal, whatever's going on that's affecting the team member. And sometimes all you need to do is listen, maybe provide some tools or resources to help them learn how to manage all the stressors really. And that seems to usually do the trick. And honestly, that's what I love about leadership.
Hmm, that's so true. Leadership really is in the business of getting people to perform at their own best.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Also, if you were to reflect, perhaps this happened earlier in your career, did you ever feel overwhelmed but kept going anyways? What helped you to push through?
Yes, a lot of times. If I just let the noise get in, I can get overwhelmed in a hot minute. Like it's pretty quick. Usually if I hear a lot of noise, there's a lot of distractions. At that point, it's a time to reset. It's just hold on a minute. Nothing is going to work well if I keep going at this level. It's okay to step away for a minute. It's okay to regroup. It's okay to go on do not disturb or focus time or whatever needs to be done to
Mhm.
get back to what I call my top three priorities that I list out the night before my next day. Organization is key. Making sure
Mhm.
that I'm doing the best every day so that I don't feel that I guess it would be maybe a sense of guilt you can put on yourself going, I could have done better, which
Ah,
that then erodes your whole mental state of, am I even doing a good job? What am I here for? All that plays into itself.
yeah, that's so true. Really be our own self best cheerleader instead of critique. Even when we reflect, of course, we may not have done everything perfectly, but it's a matter of we've done something. Let's look back and let's see what worked, what didn't work, and just be objectively kind of analyzing what happened instead of subjective.
Right,
That's true. But maybe that's also why people say eliminate the word should from your vocabulary.
right, right.
Have you ever felt, by the way, that in front of your team, even if you are stressed out, you have to hold a calm, you know, composure that you do not show that you are stressed out? How did you handle that kind of pressure?
Yeah, I just breathe. I really breathe. I often do look back to because we're here today and maybe a day in the past we were super stressed and did not realize that we were going to get through that, but we did because we're here today.
Hmm.
Um, breathe, breathe, a lot of breathing, step away. Um, and then what was the rest of that question? I'm sorry.
How do you handle that pressure in front of your team?
Okay, in front of my team,
Yeah.
I just I try to just come every day prepared and
Mhm.
I chunk it down a little bit,
Hmm.
take comes as it comes and not try to tackle too many things at the same time.
Yeah.
Really focus on the task at hand and
Yeah.
they get done. It gets done. People get talked to. You sometimes have to talk people off the ledge, and
Yeah.
that's where I get that breathes life into me. That's what I love doing. And yeah, just breathe.
that-
It's gonna be okay.
That's amazing. It's amazing to realize that sometimes it's just a matter of changing their mindset and then they can really perform better.
Mindset is definitely key.
Right. We mentioned about the individual sort of personal level of productivity that may have caused stress. If we were to step just a little bit out a little bit to look at running an insurance business, besides individual personal sort of productivity improvement, are there other sources of stress that you can think of, such as change management, administrative burden, meeting the quota? What are some other things, sort of categories of sources of stress? And
The
that's unique,
deadline.
especially
The
insurance.
deadlines, or lack of feedback, lack of communication. Even, we might be, as account managers, doing our best to get
Mhm.
ahead of a renewal,
Yep,
and we're not hearing back from our client. But we really need to realize that as long as we are doing our job and
yep,
we have communicated, it
yep,
is not up to us to do the other person's part.
right.
Change management, very challenging. I am very cautious as to what to roll out to the
Mm,
team.
hmm.
There's a lot of change that goes on at the upper levels all the
Yep,
time, and that change, half, maybe more than half actually, the time it's talked about, we're going to do this up here at the higher level, and
yeah,
then give it a minute, make
hmm,
sure that they don't change that tomorrow.
hmm,
Give it a minute, give it some space, make sure that change that you're going to relay to your team is
hmm,
going to stick around at least for a little bit, so that you're
hmm.
not bombarding the team members with more information than they need.
Mm, yeah, it's very true. And in terms of the deadline you mentioned earlier, how how are deadlines usually managed? Do they come like in chunks of certain times because there's maybe policy changes? Like how does that look like for insurance businesses?
It is, and a lot of it is based on expiration dates. You have, yeah, I mean, 1 month you might have, 20 policies that need to be renewed, and 10 of them are non-renewing. So you have to put it out to market and hope you get quotes back in time,
Hmm.
and you really hope that the client isn't mad because the premiums increased substantially. But the best way to do that is to be organized, get ahead of it, and communicate early. It really is. The more you communicate with the client, the better. Of course,
Hmm.
you cannot do the communication for them, but at
Hmm.
least you've done your job. And then you can hopefully offload some of that pressure and feel good about
Hmm.
the job you did.
That's true. So for you guys, as you think about your people and the staffing to meet this kind of demand, do you use all in-house in-office employees, or you have a hybrid of in-house remote? How does that look like from
We
a
have a
Mhm.
hybrid of in-house, a hybrid of remote, well, hybrid. We have fully remote. We have some in office, some out of office during certain times of the week. And
Mhm.
then we have our back office administration support that is fully remote.
Mm. And as you think about driving them all together to produce the best customer experience, what are some tips you can give to folks who maybe are new to hiring remote staff, maybe are worried about even bringing them on board? What are some tips you would like to share?
Some tips would be to look at the length of time they were remote, look at what type of office space they have,
Mm-hmm.
really get some feedback from maybe prior employers. You really, sometimes it's just you really don't know until you get them in there. But oftentimes history will tell what you should expect, and
Mm-hmm.
then put protocols in place so that it's somewhat of a, while it's remote, you're still in the office.
That you do know what's expected of you, right, to perform the job duties as necessary.
100% auditing procedures, what
Hmm.
needs to happen, workflow audits, renewal audits,
Hmm.
documentation. A lot of it's driven by the account management system. You can look and see what's going on. You can see when people log in. You can see what's being done, if it's not being done. It's amazing how much we can see now with technology, um,
Mm,
and allow the remote employee
right.
dynamic.
Do you feel like this new way of working has been sort of um, become part of life, specifically after the COVID kind of, the whole process where a lot of people have just shifted much more comfortable and capable of managing remote.
It's definitely become a part of the work life.
Right.
Um, it's inevitable anymore, which,
Hmm.
it's great for a lot of people and some people not so great. It just depends on people have to hold themselves accountable,
That's right.
be structured, organized, and be able to do the job really efficiently, uh, hold themselves accountable.
Yeah, that's so true. So, as you know, Edge was created after Iffy has exited his prior insurance business. So, Iffy knows the firsthand of the need for having the high quality staff. And this is why he has started with the whole concept of Edge. One of the things I heard very often from other customers as well is the fact not only Edge hires these staff, but also we check in on them and make sure they understand the expectations, they have the right tools, they do it in such a way that's professional. I Yeah, I just think this is so amazing to also hear the validation from you as well in terms of managing a remote team. In fact, we don't, it's not just remote, it's geographically dispersed team for you. Having the right protocol, having the check-ins all these things, they seem small, but they're critical.
They are critical.
Yeah. I want to switch gear back to you. I know earlier you had mentioned about staying organized, plan ahead. I'm curious for you personally, do you have some go-to methods to personally decompress, maybe after some high-stake weeks or client meetings?
Yes, I take my weekends. There might be, very rarely are there weekends that you're gonna find me working. Really,
Mm,
I try to just do my best, be very productive during the week so I can take the time, even in the evenings. Sometimes I will work late, and that's okay. That's my choice, actually.
hmm.
My that's my choice if I choose to work late.
That's
But
right.
I like to just get away, unplug, enjoy time with my family and friends, get outside. I like to work out. I like to run and hike, and I live in a beautiful place for that, especially during the summer. Travel is something that I'm just now starting to be able to get back to after. Anyway, that's a long story, but I did have a small business at one point that I learned a lot through, which also helps me be even more effective at what I do and understanding those customers that we serve.
Mm,
And just you work hard to play hard, right?
hmm.
Work hard when you need to work hard so that you
Hmm.
can take that time off and not have to think about it.
Yeah, that's so true. I love to come back to this towards the end. I love to hear your most fun trip lately.
Lately, okay, I'll have to think about that.
So for customers, I am curious. There may be customers who constantly have demands. They have constant questions about their claims, their policy details, or they need some urgent support. How how does that client kind of demand perhaps affect the mental energy of not only you, but maybe your team, and how do you manage that?
Arm the client with information. So
Mhm.
they know where to go if they have a claim. They have I don't know, it might be their policy and they have an 800 number for 24/7 claims.
Yeah.
You need to communicate with the client. The client needs to understand what they have, understand where to
Mhm.
go, And if they do call in, that they get attention. You do not, nobody ever wants to let a client sit there.
Yep.
If they call in, you call them back. If they email in, you email them back. If you need to
Yep.
talk to them, you pick up the phone and you call them.
Hmm.
There's text as well. So all of it. Communication is key in most everything any of us do.
So true. By the way, is there pressure or personally imposed pressure in terms of always available? Is there like in your industry, do you think that insurance agents and producers are under that kind of pressure more so than other industry? If so, how do you guys manage that?
I don't know about it on about more so than other industries. I think the
Hmm.
client just always the client is first and foremost always. So if
Hmm.
of course if they want to get a hold of somebody and if
Yep.
somebody didn't set boundaries and they don't realize that, so and so's on vacation, having backup, if it's during business hours, put
Yep.
backup in place. Put the process, the workflows, all of that. If it's flowing well and people are working, I should say team
Hmm.
members are working in the same method, it's easy to back up their desk.
Hmm.
If you have one team member that likes to have control, well, guess what? They're going to have a lot of chaos on their desk when they come back. They're going to have to deal with it when they're away. And it's all about, adopting the change, adopting
Hmm.
the workflows that work well for the organization,
Hmm.
understanding that as a team member that because you're doing it the way that everybody else is doing it. And I say that because not everybody likes that. A lot of people like to maintain control.
Hmm.
Well, then you maintain control, you also maintain the responsibility that comes with it.
Hmm. And have you had to coach someone to kind of a couple of times to get them into that grooving state of
Oh,
working?
have I had to? I
Yeah.
still do. Yeah, yes. That's most of what I do is making sure there's so much change happening so rapidly all the time that it's communicating it out. How are we going to do it? Then checking to make sure it's being done. If it's not
Hmm.
being done, why? Recircling that whole situation. You get the buy-in, have them understand why, have them feel the impact of how it benefits them, and then they usually come around when they realize it.
Yeah, that reminds me of that very popular thought leader, Simon Sinek, who highlights that leadership is all about the why, right?
It is.
I want to switch gear briefly to something else in terms of the strategies and solutions. When you think about perhaps helping the rest of your team who may not have had as much of the emotional resilience as you do, did you implement any sort of operational level change for the for the broader team that helped them to just handle the stress and burnout better?
Well, we do have like counseling type services available through the benefit program. And then, one of the most important things is to make sure that you have the right leaders in play. The
Mm-hmm.
right leaders do make a huge difference. And if the leaders don't understand how to connect and have empathy and just listen and be there and support wherever and however they can, really it does come down to a lot of leadership and
So true.
the emotional intelligence that the leaders have.
Yeah, very true. And I understand that in the this is maybe even more important for the insurance business, which is proper documentation. And that requires the administrative work to be done superbly. How do you optimize the operations so that the admin work doesn't become in itself a drain to your folks?
We utilize back office support to help us with the admin tasks, the phone answering. I just say faxing, but faxing does still happen. Really utilizing some back office support for our administration team. So that opens up the bandwidth for the team members that are licensed there to talk about insurance and and exposure and risk management. That's really what the team members were licensed to do in the first place. They
Mhm.
probably started out as admin at some point, and they're like,
Mhm.
you know what, I want to do more, I want to learn more, I want to be more in that regard, and giving them that space to do what they're here to do,
Mhm.
and showing that they have a team of administration support to help them
Mhm.
has been huge, huge.
That's amazing. I understand some customers of ours, they also route all of the incoming calls to a very specific line, which is handled by their back office team. Do you guys do something similar?
Yes, we do.
What have you noticed was maybe the difference between doing this versus having the phone call ring your office?
Well, there's a statistical number, and I wish I pulled it first, but the amount of productivity and focus any person loses when they're in the middle of a task,
Hmm.
to have to pick up the phone and switch
Yeah.
gears
Hmm.
is crazy. It really is. It takes away a lot of the focus and the time. That distraction, if a team member's in the middle of making a policy change or
Yeah.
changes, if there's multiple policies, it really does create potential for errors,
Hmm.
um, takes away the time that they
Hmm.
have to restart, or maybe they forget where they even were and now they're off on this other task. So getting the phones off of the team members' desks in that regard. We do have direct dial lines, so there is that at points. But again, we're back to setting expectations. I'm okay if I know a call's coming in. If I'm not waiting for that call, it's going to go to voicemail if I'm in the middle of a task. But my goal is, this is what
Hmm.
everybody's goal should be. You call that person back. It's usually morning, midday, evening, or afternoon, late afternoon. You
Hmm.
don't leave a call that's sitting there in voicemail to go on to the next day unless it comes in really late, and then you make sure to call first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's amazing. And if everyone can do this and then they are less distracted, multiply by 50 people, that's a huge amount of productivity saved.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, so true. How do you build a culture where people can take a breather and not feeling guilty about it?
You build it. You just build it. You have them understand the why behind the workflows, behind the
Hmm.
change, so that when they do take it, they realize it, but they have to take it too. Because they have
Hmm.
to take it, step back, realize it's working, and
Hmm.
it just builds upon itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. With the backup system that you have, it sounds like your folks, whoever should want to join, you are hiring also, right?
We are.
Your folks are very lucky to have a pretty robust administrative support, and there is a leader who believes in setting boundaries and having that mental recovery opportunity, and
Mhm.
also the business is booming and growing.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
amazing. I'm curious if you were to reflect, looking back at your maybe the younger self, or looking at a younger agency owner who are just starting out with less resources, what are some tips you would give to them to help them to become successful?
Get organized. Number
Hmm.
one, get organized. You
Hmm.
don't know what you have to do until you know what you have to do,
Yep.
right? So get organized. Um, Set boundaries,
Hmm.
put the client first, communicate early and often,
Yep.
and um, just if you have to do it every day, you do it every day. I like to set my organization the night before so I know what I'm doing when I come in the morning.
That makes sense. And what about what do you think in the maybe the industry as a large, at large, what do you think you would like to see more of in terms of leadership?
In terms of leadership, what I would love to see is I would love to see leadership on the growth and sales side and the operations, the account manager side really come together and understand and realize what each party does. There is
Mm,
definitely a division between sales and service,
yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't always come together realizing that we're all here supporting each other.
Mm, that's so true. Even us, we are in B2B services, and B2B software is my prior career as well. It's amazing how sometimes people think about the sort of hunters and the farmers, which are the account managers. It's just really takes, I mean, it's not easy, but it really takes more open dialogues and the willingness to step into each other's shoes. And to your point, thinking about the bigger picture, we're all here to help this business to grow.
Not even that, to help the business grow is to help the clients. If you help the clients, the business will grow. It's
So true.
when you lose the clients because you're not helping the clients that you're constantly having to fill that bucket that's dumping out the other side. So if you take care of your clients, you take care of your people, it will grow.
Hmm. That's so true. I wonder if you have thought about, so sorry, looking back to delegating the back office.
Mhm.
Would you mind just maybe helping us to unpack a little bit more of the details? What were maybe some sort of tasks you gave to the back office? Did you grow that task list to the back office over time? What does that?
Yes, so we offloaded a lot, I would say most, if not all of the administration, attaching, the helping us with file audits, and
Mm-hmm,
we did grow it. Ultimately, we needed a team lead for that back office. So Falak, if you're here, thank you. She's amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm one to realize that not one person can do it by themselves. Again, a lot of people like control.
mm-hmm,
Fine. But you're not going to get very far if you think you can do it all yourself. So putting the people in place that can help guide a bigger group of people or chunking it down into smaller groups that are led by a strong team leader is
mm-hmm.
very important. And as things grew with our back office support, definitely having a strong team lead for that is huge. And communication.
That's amazing. What are some qualities that made someone more ready as a team lead? Did you promote from within or did you hire a team lead? How did that work out?
Usually it's promotion from within.
Mm-hmm,
I started when I started, honestly, I started a long time ago, answering phones and faxing, okay, and filing paper away into paper files and filing cabinets, all those fun things that we don't have to do anymore like that. So that's fantastic. But I think that the best leaders are born out of understanding the tasks involved with the jobs that they're leading, and you build a lot of rapport that way with your team.
mm-hmm,
You build a lot of respect
mm-hmm,
with your team, and it just so most team leads will come out of that having been in the trenches. And I think team leads should be willing and able to get in the trenches with whoever at any
mm-hmm,
point, even if it's a client. If you don't know what's going on as a team lead or a leader in any capacity, and then you have to chase down somebody that it takes away from time that you could be helping the clients.
mm-hmm.
Um, and again, it all comes back to, client satisfaction, help grow our business, a leader that can help their team member, they feel as one and supported, and
Mm-hmm.
it really helps the whole organization.
Got it. Confirming what I heard is a leader should really know what he's leading or her what she is leading because they've done that before, and also be willing to roll up the sleeves when the going gets rough and they need to be ready to jump back in and do all the work. But I guess
Yes.
last one, that's also, as you mentioned, always client first,
Mhm.
having that mentality that we're in this business to service the client's needs.
Yes, I've helped clients that I have no idea who they are, nor could I log into their system that they were trying to log into. But I've walked through their whole thing and stayed on the phone with them until we made sure it was all taken care of. That's not my job, right? Not my job. I couldn't find anybody else to help them, but so I need to make sure that I know how to step in and get it done with them.
That's amazing. We got some questions from the audience. Is that all right? I run a couple of questions by you.
Sure. Sure, go for it.
Oh, wonderful. One of them is this is a very interesting question. What are some things that you have let go of emotionally or fit or practically, mentally or practically, that has helped you to manage your stress level?
I have let go of taking things personally. That's I am It's not personal, even if you have an angry client on the other side of the phone. If I'm doing what I should be doing in the manner that I'm doing it and I'm showing up for them, just because they're mad or frustrated, it's not personal. It's not me. It's not me. Listen, just listen. It'll calm down. Um, you know, unless I did do something wrong, and
Mhm.
then I just need to real take that as a learning lesson.
Mhm.
But still listen, calm down, and don't take it personally.
That's amazing. I think that really changes perspectives, and it becomes we're able to deal with the issue at hand as opposed to
Mhm.
keep rehashing as if this was taking a bigger emotional toll than necessary.
Yes.
That's amazing. I love that. I would love to know also one other question folks have is I got emotionally drained just hearing about people's pain all day, accidents, loss, stress. How do you not carry that weight home with you?
You just don't. You really just don't. I mean, maybe that comes down to, strengthening your whole your emotional backbone.
Mhm.
You can listen, you can be empathetic, compassion, supportive, all of the things, but you do have to let it go. You do the best you can do. You be there for whoever's, letting you know all this. But those are tools you need to just be emotionally strong and realize that, or maybe even at that point, count your blessings and be thankful for what you do have if that's not what you carry.
Mhm.
So maybe reframe it a little bit as to how you're holding on to it and try to let it go so it doesn't affect you personally.
Yeah, that's true. Awesome. The last question is, what's your ideal version of work-life balance in this industry? You're living it, I think.
My ideal version. I would like to go down to like 3 days on and 4 days off. Ideal version. No, but we have to be here for the client. So I think it's, I am in it. I'm living it. It's a full-time job, but making sure that I'm okay logging off when it's
Mhm.
time to log off, or again, if I want to stay, I can stay. That's on me. Taking the time, making sure that I'm ahead of whatever I need to be ahead of so that I can take my time off without being distracted. It's, I guess if I wanted to work part-time, I could, but then I'd be shoving a lot into a little space, and that probably would not work well.
Makes sense. You did mention about the trip. You started to do travel more. And as we
Mhm.
talk about the ideal work-life balance, I'd love to hear your travel stories. Tell us, tell us your most recent interesting travel memories.
My most recent, interesting, well, I don't know about interesting, but my most recent, aside from Labor Day, Memorial Day weekends, I was
Yeah.
up at Lake Almanor in California with my family and family friends. So that was fun. And then just prior to that, I was in Florida visiting my middle daughter, and it was just her and me, and that was nice. I took a cruise a couple years ago with my three kids. That was amazing. I had never
Mm,
been on a cruise before, and then I am headed to Hawaii here in, I guess, in a couple weeks with my youngest and my oldest and his girlfriend. And I haven't been to
wow.
Hawaii since 1997.
Wow.
So I'm sure a lot's changed.
Right, right, right. You cover Hawaii. Do you plan to do any work when you're in Hawaii or not? No,
I
no.
do. I actually plan to stop by and see them. I have met one of the agency principals at an event when she was over here
Mhm,
in the States, but
mhm,
I do plan to stop by, introduce myself, and just put
mhm.
faces to the names. That's about it.
Yeah, that ultimately, as you mentioned earlier, the business is all about clients, but clients are people, and it's really the business of people connecting with people, helping people out.
100%.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to go on these trips with you someday.
Someday.
Yeah, someday. That's amazing. So glad to have you today on our call.
Thank you.
We can continue this conversation. Before we go, what is the maybe one tool or process that you would recommend for folks to think about to stay organized? You have mentioned about being organized. Um,
I do. I use a pen and a paper. Honestly, I put my 3 tasks on a little sticky note, and it's right below my keyboard. Funny enough, but offloading tasks to administrative support where you can. If this is all, I'm not sure if this is all agency owners or senior managers. Offloading tasks that are not license critical.
mhm,
It's huge for the team. Huge.
mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. Such great word of advice. I'm surprised that this is just the good old pen and paper method, but
I know. It
it's so
still works.
funny.
It's a sticky note. When I'm done, I get
Interesting.
to throw it away. Yeah, exactly. It feels good throwing it away.
Yeah, just truly use the system that works for you, right?
Mhm.
And as you mentioned, nothing personal and don't feel guilty about how we conduct and how we carry out our lives.
Definitely not. Do the best
Yeah,
you can every day and work hard, play hard. Enjoy it.
love that. That's such a great quote. Thank you, Julie, so much. Let's work hard,
Thank
play
you.
hard.
Work hard, play hard. Take
All
care.
right, till next time. Thanks everybody for your
Bye.
time today as well. Bye.